Sprig of my topknot, the time is right for farewell. Hope is lost forever. Takatsuchi. Oh my god. Poor guy. Ah! It is done. Snip. It's true that the hut in question had 4 walls as you'd expect. However, by parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them. This is extraordinary! Yes, it is. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut. Excuse me, got the hiccups. Ah! And of everyone present at the scene, there was only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. Right in, Memni Memo-san! It could have only been you! Preposterous! No! Gotcha! Gotcha! This preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at the photograph again. The victim lies almost exactly in the center of the beach hut, does she not? Are we to assume as part of this farcical scenario that the assailant was a knife thrower? No, of course not. We're not. If you recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death. She was sitting on that stool. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable. Yep. Ah, a stool? Have another look at the photograph. Yep, the stool is right in front of the slit. The slit in the read screen. Right behind the stool. Would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on that stool. My word! So, in fact, the victim was killed while sitting on that stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the read screen. Ah! We still haven't gone to the pen yet, or the poison. Having been attacked, Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively. But then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut. Before the defendant, Membami-san's appalled eyes. And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day. I have no evidence, but you're just gonna have to believe me. No concrete evidence, anyway. But she did say at the start that it was a theory. By your silence, Memni Memo-san. I take it that you don't deny the charge? He does not look happy. This is absurd! Absurd, but true. That will do. Shut up. It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this matter. Which means that the defendant, Membami-san, is innocent of the crime. Okay, it's not that easy, I'm sure. Oh, thank goodness. I finally made him cave. I must say, I've never been more proud. No, this can't be. The Ouchi clan can't. What of my growth? My growth of hope? It wasn't all an apparition. I can't accept this, I won't. Yeah, suck it, Ouchi. I see no reason for the continuance of this trial. I will therefore move to conclude proceedings by delivering my final verdict, and I knew it. Who dares interrupt my courtroom proceedings? Who was that? That was him, right? Ha! Ha ha! Well, this is all very convenient. This is how the highest court in our mighty empire delivers justice, is it? Suppressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak and branding them as criminals? But You are a criminal. We've established that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut, through the reed screen walls. And no one but you was in place at the time to have this hand in the hilt of the blade. It's a perfectly logical deduction. So your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the Englishwoman, does it? Well, it seems a little irrelevant now. Uh-oh. Irrelevant? Where she was stabbed, how she was stabbed? It doesn't matter. I mean, whether she was stabbed at all makes no difference if you think about it. After all. Oh, guys, his evil's coming out. This trial's already shown the whole thing hinges on something else. The poison? I guess we have concluded that, she was poisoned, and we already concluded that there's no poison on the, blade. What? What are you talking about? Brace yourself, little man. I'm talking about the fact that everything's changed. Because of the dirt you dug up. What? Enough obscurity. Explain yourself, witness. What's to explain? I'm talking about the poison, of course. The poison? Let's ask the professor here, comment on the situation, shall we? I understand that a deadly poison you were developing was stolen from your laboratory, correct? And it's been shown that the poison was administered to the victim as Brett. Is that right? That is correct. What of it? The unusual constriction of the victim's pupils are a sure sign that this particular poison was used. I see, I see. So, presumably that means that the victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed? Ah! Dang it. Given that her pupils were clearly constricted, it seems highly likely, yes. If she had been dead already, the poison could not have circulated in her blood. Oh, Ouchie's gaining his composure. Haha! I'm so good at my job, I didn't even need to say anything. Ah, how refreshing to hear the arguments of a metropolitan mind. Precisely, it matters not a jot who stabbed whom and whose back and with whose blade. Because, quite simply, the Englishwoman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison. But that can be explained by the poison being on the blade, as we already established it wasn't on the blade. Ta-ha-ha-ha! Forgotten already, have we, yokel? During these very proceedings, the laboratory of the professor at your side assisted in proving that the blade of the weapon used to attack the victim had no trace of poison on it whatsoever. Ugh. Damn it, you're right. So let me get this down. The facts are skillfully established by the defense in this trial turn out to be a headline-making red herring. Is that about right? I have an answer, though. Hope is not lost. Oh, well. Ow! Come on, Susato. We're not done yet. Order, order, order! But where does this leave us? How? In that case, did the poison enter the victim's body? There is an undeniably obvious answer to that. The lady most likely imbibed it. You mean she drank it? Have another look at the photograph here. As you can see, a bottle of carbonated water in a glass had been knocked onto the sandy floor of the beach hut. Oh, somehow I didn't even register. Okay, so let's just so we know that Many Memo-san met with her beforehand, and he had the poison. I'm still assuming he had the poison in the little cartridge in his pen. So maybe he just had an opportunity to trickle a little bit in the cup. Maybe it wasn't an injection thing like I thought. A bottle of carbonated water in a glass had been knocked onto the sandy floor of the beach hut. Okay, I think I read that. The poison could have been slipped into either. So somebody made Miss Brett drink it. Well, what do you know? Look at those dashing eyes. It will make a great front page shot. Ooh, aha, aha. Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make no sense at all that I poisoned the woman, would I? Would it? I mean, that's been established already. Established? What are you talking about? Huh. Don't tell me you've forgotten. That's a little hard to believe, given that the person who established it was me. Was you. Me? What on earth does he mean? Oh, is he trying to say because we just established that the stabbing happened outside the hut, so he couldn't have been in the hut? Oh, let me capture those wide eyes. This is prime press fodder, this is. It would seem that this trial is not destined to end yet after all. I hereby call upon the witness to give further testimony. That's great, that is. Let me get a shot of that magnificent beard, Your Excellency. You claim it to be impossible that you were the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim. You will explain to the court in your testimony the basis upon which you make such a claim. I'm a Juno, and I'm a man. I've never tried to run or hide from anything in my life. And I'm not about to start now, because that's many-memoism. For a brief moment, I thought I'd illuminated the truth, but it slipped right back into obscurity again. Just where is this trial going to take us? Let's see. Like I said, I think I have an idea. Let's see if I'm on the right track. Complete innocence. Oh yes, I stabbed the English woman, and it's that very fact that proves I'm innocent. Because why would I bother to stab the woman if I'd already poisoned her? When I heard the student girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat. If the court were going to punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have to see justice done. Okay. But is he admitting there that he did stab her then? So he's saying that he stabbed her, but it was the poison that killed her? I mean, we don't know that. So, you admit it then? That everything happened as I described? That you were the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the read screen? You can blame this miserable country of ours. Okay. A country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free. What kind of future can a country like that have? I can slam my desk too. That's why I did it. I did what our pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do. Murder someone in cold blood. Slap bang in the middle of a charming lady's back. I plunged the blade of sweet justice right in there. Good on you. That's totally what you should have done. There's no going to jail, right? As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told, I feel really, really awful about giving false information in my testimony before. But as it turns out, there was somebody else who had it in for the victim and got her before me. No, not true. That's right, you guessed it. That pretty little student girl. Now there's a woman after my own heart. You're implicating Ray again? She's the one who gave the poison to the English woman and ended her pitiful existence. And suddenly, snap, this Juno here is off the hook. Not so fast. The argument is sound, certainly. If the witness had administered the poison himself, he need only have waited for it to take effect. Subsequently, stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical. And therefore this report had nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite logical. Uh-oh. That's right, it is. Logical and true. I'm glad you've seen all the light. You've all seen the light. Justice at last! Oh boy. Don't get ahead of yourself, buddy. This is unbelievable. And after I'd made so much progress in proving his guilt, is he going to get away with it now? No, he's not. Not if I have anything to say about it. Slap them cheeks! Think of Kazuma-san, Kazuma-sama, and Naruhodo-san. They never stop looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel. Like that. Very well then, counsel. Proceed with what I assume to be your final cross-examination in this trial. Deep breath, Susato. We got this. Yes, Your Excellency. Here we go. Like I said, I think... And again, if we prove that there was poison in his pen, that would of course naturally implicate him, because we've already established that's his pen. Okay, I stabbed the English woman, and it's the very fact that proves I'm innocent. Because why would I have both bothered to stab the woman if I'd already poisoned her? When I heard the student girl and the pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat. If the courts weren't going to punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have to see justice done. Okay.
Hold it!
Hold it, sir. So you still maintain that you didn't give the poison to the victim? Obviously, that'd be like putting a belt on your trousers when you're already wearing braces like these. Suspenders. The accused administered the poison following which the witness stabbed the victim. An unforgivable act, certainly, but not one of murder. That crime rests on the accused's shoulders. That is how the law works, you see, yokel. And who knows, you may even learn something here today. Right. 2 consecutive attempts in her life in the space of minutes. Quite a day for the victim, I'd say. Do something that evil and you've got it coming. That's how the law works. The law is of reckoning. That's not the kind of law this court upholds. You will reiterate why you were compelled to stab the victim, then, witness? Okay.
Hold it.
And was that someone else you, Many Memo-san? Son? No comment. Sorry? It was the accused who sent the English woman to hell. I just waved her off, that's all. Alright, yes. I got my hands a little dirty in the process. It's true. But you listen to me. My blade was restless at the injustice of it all. The woman got what she deserved. I say we should all applaud the young student girl for having the courage to rid the world of that menace. It hasn't been proven that the defendant did anything of the sort. He's trying to, like, play it to talk her up as a hero, like, I'm on his side, but he's clearly throwing her under the bus. Sorry about that, slip of the tongue. If the victim had unwittingly taken the poison already, the reporter would have had no reason to stab her. On the face of it, that logic sounds entirely reasonable. But there's no question that this man was responsible for Miss Brett's murder. If you could think of a plausible explanation as to why he might have stabbed her even after the poisoning, I feel sure that everything would drop into place. That's what we should be looking for. Yes, I agree. In order to do that, I must try to glean more information. Okay. Oh, she just said we have to glean more information, though. So that probably means I'm gonna press him on the remaining 2 points.
Hold it.
And then I have an idea what we should look at. So you do admit that you had murderous intentions toward Miss Brett, then? Ha! That woman's very existence offended my sense of justice. He sounds like a particular detective I know from one of the other games. Your sense of... he's claiming some sort of righteous indignation. She was pure evil, a cold-blooded killer who committed murder right here on our empire's soil. But did our good-for-nothing government do anything? Not a chance. So I had to step in. Fly the flag of justice, put things right for the people. Yes, it was my civic duty, that's what drove me to do it. So, in summary, murderous intentions then. Whatever you want to call it, the point is this. That English woman was a blight. So I had to do what was right. For society, hey, that rhymed. Yet a real wrong was done. By the student girl in the dock, a crime for which she must pay. Obviously, because the poisoning was nothing to do with me at all. Right. Okay, so this one.
Hold it.
What exactly were they arguing about? About what happened in that restaurant 9 months ago? That's what. The student girl was laying into the English woman for killing her beloved mentor, Dr. Wilson. Yes, John H. Wilson. A professor of medicine invited here from England by Professor Mikatoba, no less. Right. But the English woman just jeered. Her case was to be heard by the British Consular Court in Shanghai, however. There is little doubt that she would simply have been acquitted and sent back to her homeland a free woman. It was eating that student girl up inside, you could see it. I really feel for her. Hold it, who said that? I bet it was Suzuki-san, maybe. Oh, it's Rei herself. I can't. I can't stand here and listen to this tripe. Rei. Young girl, you stand accused here. You can't just blurt out whenever you feel like it. No, you can't. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen. But this awful man is making all this up. Susato, please. You have to make them listen. Return to the dock at once, Membami-san. We are in the middle of a cross-examination.
Hold it!
Your Excellency, please, I implore you. That journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness. Exactly. He's a filthy, rotten, black-hearted, bigoted, dirty, great, peeping Tom. Whoa, take it easy there. Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say. Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused's remarks. What's he gonna say? Yes, I will grant the request of the defense. I did not expect that, but Your Excellency! This is likely to be the final cross-examination of these proceedings. As such, I believe it would be ill-advised to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns. So, whilst recognizing that the defense's regular protocol, I hereby call upon the defendant to speak. Oh. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Okay. Okay, so it's not a new testimony, it's just more testimony. Okay, so I guess it was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison. Okay, let's press her on that.
Hold it!
Hold it, young lady. The stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean? I suspected her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson. That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the new poison. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed by the government. Indeed. All visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult. That's true. I pestered Professor Mikotoba until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. But as I left, I was searched from top to tail. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we'd been developing, you see. And since Suzuki-san expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. And we already know that the photographer, the journalist, was there. So he knew of it, or, he heard about it. So I'm guessing he was the one who stole it, and he hid it. He hid some of it in the pen. Obviously, I gave nothing away, other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance. I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I've had a singularly terrible experience with a deadly poison. I wanted to look my old enemy in the eye, surely you can understand that? To find out if my suspicions were true, I confronted Miss Brett about the poison. I told her that if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it. The whole government even. It would be a complete disaster. And how did Miss Brett respond to your concerns? She just curled those beautiful lips of hers and said she didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually. Ah, yes. Many Memo-san, one small question, if you don't mind. I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy? Clearly, you were outside the beach hut listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably, then, it was you who wrote this article about what you'd heard. Oh. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. The story was published in this morning's edition of Shoyu News. The details are too accurate for it to have been written by anyone else. Huh. Sorry, don't know what you're talking about. Yes. Look at this. The entire article. It's almost what I said to Miss Brett, word for word. Ah! Well, Many Memo-san? Sweating bullets. As a journo, and as a citizen of a free country, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of Many Memoism. Father's clearly right about this. That reporter did write that article, and he based it on what he overheard from outside the hut. Okay, I got an update. An article about poison that was stolen from a laboratory at Yume University. The reporter, Many Memo-san, based it on information he gleaned by eavesdropping. So that's what it was all about. You were trying to cover up the fact that you were listening in. That's why you came out with that stinking story about me arguing with her. Shut up! My stories never stink. Look, whatever you say, little girl, it doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say, and I want to get it on record. Very well. You may amend your formal testimony. I got this. Okay, now what do you got to say? The point is, if you poison someone, there'd be no reason to then go and stab the person as well. Okay, so that was the point he amended, right?
Hold it!
Perhaps you doubted the efficacy of the poison and sought to make sure your victim would die. That's horse dung. What? That would be like pouring pepper on your Chinese ramen before you'd even tasted it. Completely reckless. Although, it might surprise you to learn that I'm a bit of an impetuous pepper pourer as it happens. Okay, not the point. Once the victim had taken the poison, she would have been only minutes away from death. And yet this man then proceeded to stab her in the back as well. There has to have been a good reason for that. If it were the reporter who gave the poison to Miss Brett, then clearly, he must have done it prior to Ray entering the hut. Yes, that's undeniable. But between him leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed, there was one very crucial change in the situation. Sorry, what change? The reporter overheard the conversation between Ray and the Englishwoman. Ah, yes, that's it. That's when many Memosan first found out the exact nature of the poison he'd used. That could be the key here. Okay. So it definitely has to do with that point. Okay. Let's read... wait, where is it? Yeah, let's read this again. Okay... Even the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade, would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Okay, wait, what was the piece of evidence that got, updated? Wait, I forget what it was. Oh yeah, it was this. An article about poison that was stolen from a laboratory at Yuma University reporter. Okay. If you'd poison someone, there'd be no reason to then go and stab the person as well. I feel like it has to do with this. The poison article update. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm not sure exactly what. It might ask me like what page. I feel like it must have something to do with this. I've said that before, but I'm not sure. Deadly in tiny quantities. I feel like it could be that page. Oh, maybe? Okay. Could it be that? Because we know that it says the symptoms occur in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. So was he maybe he was trying to kill her before the poison took effect, so that, you know, to hide the fact that it was poison? Oh, gosh.
Objection!
Okay, that was right. Well, I can think of one reason. What? What? Before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the court. Did you glean all the information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut? Of course he did. There can be no question of that. After all, when we were all in the laboratory together... All we were told is that it was a terrible toxin. And there is one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Membami-san's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped the poison into Miss Brett's drink. Wait. Did I hear that right? Right, okay. Verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. Okay, yeah. Where are you going with this, counsel? Manny Memo-san has made it quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it. Ah! Which means that Miss Brett couldn't have imbibed the poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membami-san entered the hut. Yes, very articulately put. When I walked in the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison. At which point, Manny Memo-san overheard some worrying information. Worrying information? What worrying information? The information which he subsequently included in his newspaper article, namely, that the poison was being developed in strict secrecy, and that it couldn't be readily obtained. Yes, absolutely. In fact, that's quite an understatement. The only possible place it could have come from is my lab. And furthermore, anyone inflicted by the poison would exhibit that's what I was talking about. Exhibit telltale signs of death. So it wasn't that he didn't want them to know it was poison, he didn't want them to know it was that poison, that specific poison. Because then he'd be in deep trouble. The extreme constriction of the pupils. Yes, it's quite stark when you see it. Yeah, so like I said, he was trying to... When he realized that, he quickly needed to kill her before the poison killed her, basically. There are other poisons that show similar symptoms, but not among new substances that are undetectable. In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people. Ah! Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we've been developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. Membami-san being no exception. Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered the unique poison to the victim was a layperson, unaware of its telltale properties. That's right, Ray would know. Point that finger, Susato. In other words, someone like you, right in Manny Memo. Gah! Got him. It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day. And it was you who administered it to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that was a terrible mistake. Because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceable. Got nothing to say? As you listened in from the far side of the beach's hut thin walls, you learned of these facts. But you'd already given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late. So you had to plan to disguise your mistake. A plan that involved stabbing the victim in the back through the reed screen. Aha! But what good could that possibly do? Isn't it obvious, counsel? It is to me. See, it feels good when you actually are doing good and know what's going on. Last episode, I felt like I was stumbling in the dark at points. The plan was to kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect. Aha! Once in the blood, the poison causes the onset of pupil constriction. But he had hoped to precipitate the victim's death before that happened, hadn't he? Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison's use, no one would ever have suspected. This is extraordinary! Yes, the effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified, so the killer had to mask its use. Which he attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back. Got him. Order! 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 The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration. Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward? Well, there are a number of, yes, I counter completely.
Objection!
You don't know what you're doing, Ouchie. The prosecution's evasive response clearly shows that in much the same way as he nurtures the remnants of his topknot, he is clinging to lost hope. The lost hope? Oh. Oh boy. Who could that be? Is it a journalist friend? Uh-oh. Oh, what the? Was that a cap? Or was that his hair? Oh, you pathetic, useless, fallen samurai! Fallen? Who are you calling fallen? My burgeoning growth is a... Oh gosh, he's losing it. I don't need a counter-argument. What? What the douche? What are you talking about? It should be blatantly obvious. I stole the poison, you say? Gave it to the victim, you say? Stabbed her, you say? Lots of fine theories. But I don't need a counter-argument because you don't have an argument yourself. Where's your evidence? The pen. And remember, it has a little trace of it so we can test to see if the poison is in the pen. Yes, you make it all sound so plausible, don't you? But without evidence, it means nothing. Whereas I base my news on facts. Sorry, but no. Fake news. Facts. What do you mean? Explain yourself. I mean what the professor said earlier in his trial. It's all here, in many memos. Ah, that's the pun, isn't it? Many memos. Okay. Every word. Every slip of the tongue, all noted. That's what the Shoyu News is famous for, its power of the printed word. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed by the government. Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult. And that's why it was in the pen. They didn't check there. How is that then? Blown the story wide open. See, written many memos. Written many memos? Sorry, I'm still trying to think of the pun. I'm a reporter from the Shoyu News. Couldn't possibly have stolen that poison. From the professor's laboratory? Ah! Oh, darn it. No, we got this, Susato. I know exactly what happened. But there can't be any question of it. He must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it, and used it to kill. And if that's the case... Slam! As you've identified, the poison itself is the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is the true culprit here. What's your point, you annoyingly handsome country bumpkin? Ah, I'm handsome, thank you. My point is this. There's one way that you, Many Memo-san, could have stolen the poison that day. I have heard enough verbal conjecture now, thank you. What the court must be shown is evidence. What proof do you have that this witness stole the poison on the day in question? It's gotta be this, right? You have a very small amount of liquid still inside the ink reservoir?
Take that!
The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen. Ah! A fountain pen? How could that possibly be relevant? These magical pens somehow seem to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji characters. I believe they arrived in our country for the first time some 15 years ago. Bah! I swear by a weasel hair calligraphy brush and nothing else. These newfangled pens are merely a fad. This newfangled technology will be the death of me. Well, as a forward-thinking man of words, obviously I love my fountain pen. Suck up a suitcan of sumptuous ink, and one's work is awash with words in the blink of an eye. That's right. Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, into which ink is sucked up through the nib of the pen in order to write with later. What does all this talking of sucking up ink have? Ah! Got it now? You catching on? And just as it's possible to suck ink up into the reservoir, It's also possible to eject it through the nib again, of course.
My word, can this really be?
Well, Many Memo-san?
Nonsense?
When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison up through the nib and into the pen's reservoir.
Go!
Got him. That's all I can say is got him.
Objection!
More obscenity. That never happened. How do you know? Were you there? True, we've heard that there were procedures in place to prevent thefts like this from the laboratory. But would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen of all places?
No, I'm a little ashamed to say.
That for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would not have been conducted.
Well, this is quite startling, I must say.
I remind the court that the pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by Many Memo-san. Oh, he's sweating bullets. So the crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped?
Are you suggesting?
The natural conclusion is that in your haste to act whilst the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped the pen after you emptied the poison from it into her glass. There could be any number of alternative explanations. For example, the witness could have been using his pen to write down details of his conversation with the victim. Right. And when shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand.
Sounds like a load of bull.
No, that can't be. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink? What? Come again? As you can see for yourself if you examine the evidence, there would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir. What newspaper reporter goes to interview something with nothing in his pen? No, the pen was dropped after the poison that filled its reservoir had been emptied into the victim's glass.
Witness, what do you have to say for in your defense?
Nothing. Nothing at all, right?
So this is how our modern justice system works, is it?
So what if the ink in my pen runs dry? So what if my pencil snaps?
Oh gosh. I am Wolverine, hear me roar. I can always claw my way back into the game. I have plenty in reserve.
Ah! Oh gosh, he's dangerous. He's got weapons.
You claim I sucked the poison up into my pen? That's wild speculation, nothing more. If you thought you could bring down a fine, upstanding citizen with a trick like that, think again. It looks as though it's going to take one final decisive blow to finish this matter. As I see it, the situation is now very simple. It rests upon whether or not this witness did indeed steal the poison on the day in question. And therefore, it all depends upon whether or not the defense can prove that he did with evidence. Ha! No such evidence could possibly exist.
It can, though. Many Memo-san, this is how our modern justice system works.
What?
In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Ha! You tell him. Throw it in his face. Because we are well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you.
Very well then. I call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence.
This is it then. This will be the final piece in the puzzle. It's just the pen again, right? The defense can prove by means of this item that it was the witness's pen that was used to steal the poison. It's the pen, right? Because small amount of liquid still inside the ink reservoir.
Take that!
You believe that this evidence will prove beyond doubt that the witness used his pen to steal the poison?
What do you believe, Your Excellency? Oh no, am I wrong? Are you kidding me?
I believe you are gravely misguided.
Misguided? Oh dear. Well, I believe I could do better next time. Okay. Oh! Duh. Okay. We haven't even used this yet. Okay, well, I was on the right idea. I had the right idea. Council, what is that bottle? This bottle contains the unique chemical reagent that can identify the poison in question. Ah! Yes, that poison is an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids, developed by my colleagues and I. It would be impossible to detect traces of it by any other method. Or, from another perspective, simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison. Ah! A reagent? What? One drop of the contents of this bottle on the tip of your fountain pen, Memo-san, is all it will take to solve this case beyond all reasonable doubt. Oh no. Damn it all. No. You can't. I won't. I got more pencils. Your crimes are bad enough, but at least know when to admit defeat. Your Excellency, the defense requests permission to carry out the test on the fountain pen at once. Oh, here's this freak out. Oh, here we go. This isn't my fault. The Empire drove me to this, trying to hold its high citizen nation by bowing to it. I took arms and formed a mighty pen. Battlefield, justice, righteousness, many memo-san, many memo! Yeah! Susato with me! I'm there! Hiya! Oh, that was so cool. Dead. Is he dead? Did I do it right? That was a Susato takedown, wasn't it? Not quite. Good enough, though. That was a Ryutaro takedown. Oh, that's right. Might be. Oh, that was one of the coolest. That was epic. Epic beyond words. The instant the first drop of the reagent touched the nib of the fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present. Watch after all that, it's like, oh, there's no poison in the pen. Damn it. When I saw it there in the lab, the poison, the devil got hold of me and I decided to do it on a whim. Now you look so defeated. I excused myself and emptied all the ink down the sink in the bathroom, washing the reservoir carefully. And then you waited for an opportunity to suck up some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen. Yes, that's right. Answer me one thing, Memo-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose? Isn't it obvious? To find out what it was made of and expose it in an article. I mean, it was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journal like me to pass up. Then why did the Englishwoman end up dead? Good question. I went into that hut intending to quiz her on her situation. That's all. As a reporter. A known killer enjoying full freedom. Evading justice by leaving the country. I told her what I thought about it. Slam! And she just laughed in my face. Oh, that's a cool shot. Oh, what's this? A Far Eastern caveman purporting to practice journalism? Ha ha! Really, you must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways, you ignorant plebeian. What? What did you call me? This country with its pretensions to a justice system, to a free press, it's really very distressing. You see our superior ways in the West, yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. She really is a piece of work, isn't she? Get out of here, you oaf! Get out, and crawl back into the cave you came from. You biatch! And that's when he snapped. That's when I remembered. About the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time. What a terrible tale. In my head, I knew I should just get out of there as quickly as possible, but I couldn't. I couldn't let her get away with what she'd done, when she clearly had no remorse at all. Yeah, she was an evil, evil lady. I suppose it was my journo spirit getting all fired up. Aw, sad Memo-san. kind of is tragic. I mean, in a way, she kind of deserved to die. I'd like to ask you something.
Yes?
You often talk about justice. But surely as a journalist, you could have used other means to deliver the justice you sought.
There's no justice in the press.
Sorry?
After that trial 9 months ago, I kept digging and digging to find out what happened in that courtroom. And finally, I discovered the truth. It was a cover-up. That's what it was.
A cover-up? What do you mean?
I would remind you of your position, witness. Be careful of what you say. Oh, come on. Doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national? Consular jurisdiction should never have come into it. And yet that puffed-up Englishwoman was going to sail away into the sunset as a free woman. The only possible explanation is that, beyond the scenes, some deal had gone down between Britain and Japan.
Yeah, they definitely alluded to this at the beginning of the last game. What sort of deal? There's just there's some guy waiting, on the rooftop, just waiting to snipe him if he says too much.
I've done my research, dug up all the dirt, it was all ready to be published. But you know what happened? The editor just tore the article up. He came under pressure from the government. You mean? If our government is going to let criminals walk free, if they're going to crush the free press, then what choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself?
Let's not forget, Memo-san, that you committed murder yourself, and you tried to lay the blame at the defendant's door. Yeah, really, you can't preach to us about truth. I'm sorry, but you're no better than Gisli Brett.
What?
Yeah, lay into him, Susato. The truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all.
I suppose you're right. I suppose. It would appear that we have reached a conclusion in this trial at last. Counsel for the defense, Ryotaro Naruhodo.
Oh. Yes. Ahem. Sorry, Your Excellency, just musing in a manly way here.
Manly! It's almost unbelievable this is your first experience of the Supreme Court. In the last episode you were sucking hard, but you redeemed yourself in this one. It was an excellent performance. In truth, it very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits.
Oh, Naruhodo, Ryunosuke, you mean?
The way he handled the trial 9 months ago, and the way you handled this one. It gives me hope that we are genuinely entering a new era of justice on this land.
Thank you. That's very flattering, Your Excellency.
Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice system will be forged by you and your contemporaries.
Thank you.
So, Prosecutor Ouchie, do you have any final thoughts?
Oh no. I forget what you call it. Isn't that is he gonna do the thing where you cut off a finger? The Yakuza thing? Prosecutor Ouchie, don't! I failed. I must pay. I, Takatsuchi of the Ouchie clan, have been bested by a callow youth not once now but twice. If there was any shred of my former self left, it was withered and died here today. Gosh, your journey to cultural enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it? Silence! Oh no. Rather than living on in shame, I will end it all now with this blade. Oh, he's just gonna straight up stab himself. Or is he gonna cut off his hair? For that is the true path of Ouchieism. Ouchieism?
One hopes that the only way in, which will be modeling himself after the witness.
I must die! Sprig of my topknot, the time is right for farewell. Hope is lost forever. Takatsuchi. Oh my god. Poor guy. Ah! It is done. Snip.
Now, in regard to the defendant, Raymond Bami-san,
Yes, Your Excellency.
I have reached my final verdict. I hereby find you guilty AF. Just kidding. Not guilty.
Woohoo! Let it rain flower petals. We did it. Our first case of the game is done. 1 chapter down, 4 more to go.
Court is adjourned.
Ah, my voice is killing me. Yeah, this is definitely going to be split into 2 episodes because we've been recording for over 2 hours. And there's still more. It's 13th of August, 2:38 p.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 3. It's over. My heart is still pounding in my chest, though. It's all I can do just to stay standing. There he is. There's our boy. Lawyers have such great responsibility, such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruhodo-san? That's right, Susato. Susato! Susato! Yeah, it's Ray. Thank you so much. You were so dashing in there. I still want to make out. Ray. And Father. Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you've... Oh no. I think I'm going to cry. It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end too. Oh, that was me. That was Susato. The only reason I'm still here is because of you. Oh no. I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Ray. So I would have to say that the congratulations belong to you. Susato, don't be so standoffish. Sorry? We're friends, equals, and the trial's over. So no more of this formal humility nonsense. It's time to celebrate with swagger. Is that a term that exists? At this point, I sincerely doubt it. To throw caution to the wind. Caution to the... what? I'm the great defense lawyer, Ryutaro Naruhodo, and I'm taking you out to a milk bar tomorrow. Or something. Right, I see. I'll, think about it, Ray. At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horrid man, and it felt so good. Yes, it was satisfying. It was indeed. It really was. Is there nobody else we could throw together?
Ha! Don't look at me. I hope you're not looking at me, Ray.
Oh my goodness. No, of course not. Of course not! Ah, there it is at last. Ray's lovely smile.
You fought for your friend to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Thank you. But I couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryutaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Susato Mikotoba now.
Aw.
So I'll never see him again then? What a terrible shame. I think I've fallen for him.
What?
There's our guys. What is happening? Ah, Suzuki-san and Inspector Hosonaga. I do hope you've been keeping well. Is that really you? Yes. Oh, did I take my costume off already? I had to change my appearance for, well, obvious reasons, I hope, but it's me. Susato Mikotoba.
don't. So dashing, so divine. No. Doubly dashing, yes, and devilishly divine. Just look at you. I had no idea, Miss Susato-san Esquires, that you were locum student Naruhodo-san Esquire's cousin. Not exactly. Astonishingly astounding ace attorney. Poor Suzuki-san. So confused. I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison cell in London. What an extraordinary conundrum it was that the unwitting student from Japan found himself embroiled in. But after Naruhodo-san's skillful defense at the Old Bailey, Suzuki-san was free to return to Japan. Oh, we're gonna get that again, the multiple witnesses. And now he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author. I'm stunned. That's a truly impressive disguise. Even I had no idea, and I'm a chief inspector at the police bureau, who came up with Mr. Turtle, no less. Come again? I'm not sure you should be admitting to that, Inspector. Amazing, you're a woman of many faces, I see. Just two, really. And this was a once-in-a-lifetime event, I hope. Oh, I'm not a patch on you, though, Inspector. Well, I am a professional, of course. I do worry about Inspector Hosonaga sometimes. I really do. I think Susato officially first met him probably in the second case of the last game, right? Oh, that's true. I guess she did. I remember he was part of that case, the first case, but I couldn't remember if she actually, like, met him there, but I guess she would have. I remember she came barging in with, important evidence. 9 months ago, when he appeared here at the Supreme Court to testify, he was undercover, disguised as the head waiter of a restaurant. There he is. That's the case I was referring to. And then on the steamship to Great Britain, of course, disguised as a sailor to keep us safe on the journey. Yeah, Kazuma's death. Though that didn't help you, did it, Kazuma-sama? From my perspective, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about all this. I mean, now the truth has been lost forever. Ooh, what do you mean? I'm talking about the murder that the English woman committed at the end of last year. Ah yes, it was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Dr. Wilson. Dr. John H. Wilson, yes. The man I invited to Japan personally. The mystery is, why did she kill him? We never found that out, and now I guess we'll never know. And now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer. Indeed. Even after all this time, it's still a mystery. On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter. With Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, the great detective, I mean. Yes, I remember Mr. Sholmes well, of course. Ah, my arch-nemesis, how lightly you utter his name. Well, according to the stories published about him in the Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes. A best friend. That would be Wilson. And that man was an exceptional doctor of medicine by the name of John H. Wilson. What? Dr. Wilson? I just can't believe that it's a coincidence. No way. Not in this game. I think that the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been the friend and partner of Mr. Sholmes. Indeed. And if that's really true... Yay, we haven't seen Iris. Hello, Susato, it's me, Iris Wilson. Then the poor girl won't ever see her beloved father again. As you know, I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study. It was around the time you were born. Yes, grandmother told me about it. On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at the Imperial Yume University. But I also serve another role, as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs. Yes, I was aware of that as well. In that case, I'm sure you understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you.
Darn. It's too early in the game for that. Could you just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan? That's right, that's the whole reason I left England. It's been 2 months now since I returned. When I left England, it was because an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan. It said that you collapsed with a high fever, and you were growing weaker by the day. Oh, that's right, of course. That was the whole reason she left, and here he is, fine, so he must have done that for a reason. What? Where did that news come from? That's what I'd like to know. Because after that long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, father. Was there something in Great Britain that you perceived might inconvenience me in some way, or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of. Dear me, do you reserve your most cutting glares for your father, Susato? I'm sorry, my dear. I simply can't. Ah, let me go! Oh, there he is. Freedom! Catch me if you can. Many Memo-san! So, one throw wasn't enough for you. I have tasted blood and I want more. I've got one last thing to say before they take me away, Professor. Me? I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. In that visiting student's fate. Uh-oh. Visiting student? Cecily Brett, you mean? No, not her. The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago. Naruhodo? Or Kazuma? What? Student of law? He must mean... Kazuma-sama. What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma-sama? I do remember, I think his name was on that disc at the end of the last game. Which was like a government thing. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know what the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship. Oh, really? And that he'll never... Oh my god. Well, I didn't expect to find him in here. I learned the Susato takedown from the best. Oh my gosh, have we ever seen the judge away from the away from his desk, whatever you want to call it? Oh, that is so cool. What were you in? And there he is in the background. I might have killed him. Don't mind me, I'll see you at my I might have killed him. Susato, are you willing to defend me in court? What were you officers playing at? Terribly sorry, Your Excellency. Oh dear. He looks so imposing. I was coming to tell you that the rickshaw has arrived, Eugen, and it's a good day I came by. Yes, thank you for dealing with him, and I'll be there shortly. Oh, Your Excellency. Oh shoot, am I not in disguise anymore? Ha 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 ha! The trial's over. I'm not Your Excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend, Seishiro Jigoku. And may I say that since I saw you last, you seem to have taken on a more dashing appearance. Susato? Was he aware the whole time? Did you know all along? From the start of the trial? Ha 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 ha! A judge sees everything, Susato. I couldn't let you take the risk. If Seishiro here hadn't known, and then he'd recognized you. So I had a word in his ear beforehand, as an old friend. So, Seishiro, shall we? Yes, having ruled on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address. Before you go, Father. Sorry, my dear. We shall have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date. But well done again, both of you. You did admirably. I wouldn't be surprised if he dies, her father. Oh, thank you very much. What did you think of my Seishiro sling, eh? It's been a while since I sent a man flying like that. Ah, ha 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 ha. Whatever could Father be hiding from me? About Cecily Brett, about Dr. Wilson. And now it seems, according to the reporter, about Kazuma-sama. I'm going to have to bring this up with Father sometime. But nobody else is around. See, she's raising death flags. Oh, I thought we were done with this chapter.
Judicial Assistant oh, that's me. Judicial Assistant Mikotoba-san Esquires, could I... Oh, I'm sorry, it's him. I'm an idiot. Judicial Assistant Mikotoba-san Esquires, could I have a word? Oh, yes, of course, Suzuki-san. What is it? I think perhaps it could be fate that we're meeting again like this now. You see, there's something I need to tell you. Oh? I believe that it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England. This I have to hear. Please, Suzuki-san, tell me at once. I will. At a later time. See ya. As you know, my time in England was terrible. Cursed, I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in. Thank goodness locum student Naruhodo-san Esquire stepped in. After you secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get in ship back here, to my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikotoba. Oh, interesting. He wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report. My father? He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that he sent the telegram to you asking you to return to Japan. What was it then? The particular part my father was interested in. I don't really know exactly. But do you remember them? Those two terrible cases I was caught up in? Of course. I can never forget. Your father seemed concerned himself mainly with the second case. The second one? You mean... the one Mr. Sholmes forbade any of us to talk about in public? Which is why only the case involving you that any member of the public is aware of is the first. Well, I don't care. I don't have to listen to what that dastardly detective says. Anyway, the point is, it seems that case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions. Cool, so we're going to be revisiting an old case from the last game. Maybe multiple cases. That horrific, hideous, heinous crime, the case of the haunted lodgings. That case somehow caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan. Oh, okay, so we're referring to a case that we didn't see in the last game. The first case he was referring to was, you know, the one with the carriage. Wait, which one was that? Oh yeah, that was the one with the fat lady who was stabbed in the street. But there was a second case that we didn't experience. I thought that whole business was over. But it seems I was wrong. Perhaps that was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told. Oh, I wonder if we're going to see that case now. Are we done here, though? Oh, I think we're almost done. Oh, are we back at the,
The mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness.
We're back at Kazuma's grave.
Having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san.
I'm actually talking to Ryunosuke. So are we gonna stay separate the whole game? I hope not. I hope we
Actually,
reunite.
I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left.
Okay.
Perhaps you might like to look over them again.
Oh, okay. We're continuing on with Ryunosuke now, I guess.
For the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue.
This is a really pretty
It
location,
makes me
I must
long
say.
to see you again.
Hopefully soon, Susato.
Susato.
Susato. That's how Celeste would pronounce her name. Susato. Okay, what a great start.
Whew, I am tired though. I am hot. My voice is killing me. We are Susato's success. Huzzah. We're approaching 2 hours and 30. So yeah, this is definitely going to be split into 2. But that was a lot of fun, and a lot happened. So yeah, I love it. I love the interconnectedness. I love how obviously this whole case was connected to the first case of the last game. We're bringing in characters back, referencing things. I love that stuff. Okay, so that'll conclude the first chapter, the first episode, whatever you want to call it. The first investigation and trial. Although I guess it was just a trial. That's a great start. So I wonder if we are going to actually, like, maybe in a flashback sort of way, revisit that case. Or maybe we're just going to have Susato's notes and we're going to kind of learn about it, the case that she's talking about. Because I don't think it's a case we experienced. I think it's a completely different case. She said it was the reason for why Susato was summoned back to England in the first place. Oh, sorry, to Japan. If I understood that correctly. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what that case is all about. Apparently it's going to be a key thing. And just what the next chapter is going to have in store for us, you know? I think we're probably going to return back to England, to Naruhodo, which would mean we'll hopefully get to see our good friends Iris and Sholmes again. I miss them. And probably what's his face? Van Zykes, you know, whenever we get to that first trial. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the story of this game is. And like I said, I just love how it's all connected. It feels like a proper sequel. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video or videos, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when more videos go up. And of course, share this video and the channel with all your friends, family, loved ones. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you next time. So take care, and bye-bye.